me, folks. Why haven't you subscribed yet? Tell them, Lily. My last video was called Predator Invasions, Wildlife in Danger. I decided to make this video after I've read a couple of the latest articles about sharks. Sharks are in danger, and we are the predators that's put them there. I wanted to make this video because they need our help. Also, with my videos getting more views, I feel it is an obligation for me to use my platform to make that help. Even though my platform is still very small, it is growing. Science should not just be about learning. It should also be about preservation of the environment. At the end of this video, I will give a list of ways that you, the viewer, can help if you would like. Sharks are often overlooked when it comes to endangered and threatened species, mostly because they're not cute and cuddly like a lot of them. They are somewhat cold, and they do not, or they come across as somewhat cold, and they do not show the affections that a lot of mammals show. People fear these animals, and that plays a lot into their deaths as well. There are several pressures to the shark population that I'll be going over. In the 70s, 60s and 70s, before Jaws, they were seen as trash fish and were killed a lot. After Jaws, they were seen as a threat. The author of the book Jaws, Peter Benchley, even said that if he had known the effect that the novel would have in the subsequent movie, he would not have written it. A lot of sharks died because of fear over that. But in today's world, there are other factors. Overfishing of the shark's prey. That really affects the population. Fish like tuna, sardines, mackerel, and others are all prey animals for sharks, and they are all severely overfished in large parts of the world. And it's done by commercial fishing without regulation. When it comes to something like fish, hunting, that kind of thing, to do that without a regulation, without population control, without studying the populations, it ends up causing a lot of harm, because people take what they want and kill thousands upon thousands of animals and things they don't need. This has drove populations of the fish to almost non-existent numbers in some locations, which drives the number of sharks down. And this not only affects the sharks, but other life forms that depend on the ocean, including humans. Human population, we humans get a large part of our protein from the sea and fish. A lot of the overfishing, not only is it overfishing of targeted species, but there's also a lot of bycatch that is basically just, it dies for no reason and is thrown overboard. So that don't not only affects sharks, but it also affects us, and it is something that we need to work on. Phantom nets and long lines, and just general trash in the ocean have wreaked havoc on a large portion of the ocean life. Animals, not only sharks, are caught in phantom nets. Sharks, with a large portion of the shark population, or the shark species, a large number of shark species having to continually swim to breathe. These sharks that are caught in these nets basically drown. The same way with long lines, sharks die at the end of hooks attached to abandoned long lines. And it litters everywhere. Nets and long lines are a detriment to not just sharks, but other sea creatures. Then you have just the general, just trash in general, as in they are the Great Pacific Ocean, or the Great Pacific trash pile. It's just a huge, enormous pile of trash out in the middle of the Pacific. Animals like whales eat this trash just floating, and it kills them. Sharks, a lot of sharks can eat trash, and it then expel. They kind of reverse their stomach through their mouths, so that doesn't affect them as much, but it can still affect them, and it also affects their prey items. So it's just our trash, our things we leave is really taking effect on the shark population and ocean populations in general. The final cause that I want to talk about, and one of the biggest that is affecting sharks, is shark finning. It's a horrible practice. They catch a shark, they bring it in, the shark's still alive, they cut off the shark's fins, then they take the shark and throw it overboard. Again, with most sharks having to swim to live, the sharks drown. The sharks also sink. Most sharks, all sharks, have to swim to stay afloat. They do have, as I mentioned in my one of my other shark videos, I'll put a little thing here. When that happens, when a shark stops swimming, it sinks because they don't have swim bladders like other fish. They have enlarged livers that are full of oil. That helps with buoyancy, but it doesn't make them buoyant. It allows them to maintain a semi-buoyant state while swimming, but if they stop swimming, they sink. So yeah, they cut off the fins, and they allow the shark to die slowly and painfully. Even the ones that don't need to swim to breathe, still, they don't have fins, so they're not going to live. A study published by Nature recently states that shark populations have dropped over 70% since 1970. A very large number of those are linked to shark finning. This is done mainly because of a large market of shark fin soup originating in China. The practice of shark finning in America is illegal. You can catch a shark, you can kill a shark as long as it's within the regulations, but you cannot cut the fins off and just leave the rest of the shark. You've got to take the entire shark, and the entire shark needs to be used. Whether it is or not, I'm not for sure. But killing sharks just for their fins is illegal in America. However, the sale, trade, and serving of shark fin soup is not illegal. So there are places in America where shark fin soup and shark finning itself is not practiced, but shark fin soup is sold, which attributes to the practice of shark finning. Shark fins are almost entirely cartilage. They're rigid because to maintain stability in the water. With them being made up of cartilage, it's said they pretty much do not have a taste. Cartilage doesn't really have a taste. And this shark fin soup is eaten mostly as a status symbol. It's impossible to tell which fins that are sold in these restaurants, which ones are killed or harvested legally, or which ones are poached in the illegal shark finning trade. There must be a change if we're going to save the world we live in. Sharks play an important role in the environment. They maintain balance. They feed on the sick, the weak, and the dying, which promotes a healthy genetic population, and it keeps disease down, as all predators do. To take out a top predator like sharks, to take those out of the equation, it is detrimental. Here in East Tennessee, almost all of our natural predators have been exterminated. Mountain lions have been spotted, but they're very few in numbers if they're here. Wolves were exterminated. Bears were almost entirely killed out, and bears do not really eat a whole lot of meat. But because of this, populations of deer exploded, and our deer numbers, even though they are deer hunters, the deer hunters do not keep the deer population in enough check to keep disease from running rampant in the deer population. So every few years, the population will get so out of control, and then a disease will go through and wipe out a large number of them. And then within a year or two, their population rebounds and everything's back to normal. So sharks play an important part. If it's not for sharks, fish populations, certain fish populations could explode. The fish that's not caught for food. But even then, it's just the ocean state is pretty bad at the moment. So things must change because we rely on the ocean. In November of 2019, a bill was passed through the House of Representatives here in America that would have made shark finning illegal in the United States. Not just the finning itself, but the sale of shark fins and the sale, transport of any of that of shark fin would have been made illegal. According to NPR, now it passed the House, but according to NPR, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida blocked the bill, even with a large bipartisan support as well as a large support from the public. He blocked the bill and he would not let it pass. That's unfortunate. So, if you want to help, there's several things you can do. One of them is not give businesses to places or companies that support shark finning in any way. If it is a restaurant that serves shark fin soup or has been known to serve shark fin soup or shark meat in general, because the populations need to be under control, avoid that restaurant. Just do not do business with, don't do business with these companies that support this industry. Call or write your congressman or representative, congressperson. So your senators, your representatives, call them, write them if you live in America. They work as a representative of the people. Let your voice be known. It is your right, and some would even say your duty, if you see something that you don't like. If you see something that is wrong, you need to let them know. If you live in another part of the world, you can try reaching out to your officials in that country. Do it safely. I know some places are not the best, but so just try to reach out to your officials. Sign petitions or draw a petition up yourself and pass it around to have it signed, and give those signatures to the proper authorities to show that there are support for these for this cause. Support companies that use sustainable fishing practices, not just companies that don't support shark finning. Don't support, but if you can find a company that practices sustainable fishing, support those companies, because every little bit helps. And finally, there are several non-profit, reputable non-profit organizations that help with the shark finning industry. I will give a list of those in the description of this webpage. That list will include things like the World Wildlife Fund and others, and these will be companies that I've done research on to make sure they are reputable, and at least from what I can find, I do know World Wildlife Fund is reputable. So with our help, sharks can recover. Most of our help being fixing the problems we caused ourselves. And just leave sharks alone. Practice sustainable fishing. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Try, if we can clean up the mess that we've left. Just let sharks in the ocean be the ocean. Things will get better. But it has to stop soon. If the numbers continue, we may get to a point where we will lose sharks, rays, and skates entirely, which will be horrible. But yeah, so if you want to support this cause, there are several ways, and I would suggest that you try that if you want. But thanks everyone. This is a somber video, kind of. Didn't mean it to be. I was actually going to do a different video. But after reading the articles, I kind of felt it was an obligation to do this one. So, thanks for watching, if you've watched this long. And have fun and be safe.